I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 484 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, September 26, 2025. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez here. Make sure to follow me on X if you like at the Hoots Podcast. Instagram is at Josh Lopez Music. If you could do us a favor, if you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're currently at 569 subscribers. We're on the road to 1,000, so any support on that end would be deeply appreciated. Also, don't forget to check out our podcast in audio form, anywhere you get your podcasts from, especially our home of the Hoots Podcast, Odyssey. So shout out to all the great people from Odyssey and the Odyssey Creator Lab for having us, and we're very grateful for the platform here. As we continue the wind down to the final edition of the Hoots Podcast, which is coming up soon. We got 16 more episodes to go, and it's coming by, man. I say every week, but it's true. These weeks keep going by really fast, so I hope each and every single one of you are doing well, and I appreciate you still tagging along with me as I get closer to the final episode of this show. Hopefully, sooner or later, I could probably bring in some good brothers and good sisters on the podcast just to kind of reminisce things before I say goodbye for the wrestling talk. But I made a little bit of an announcement this week on my Instagram page at Josh Lopez Music that I'm going to be venturing into a new topic, and I got a new name for a show that I'm going to be doing in the beginning of 2026 called The Surf Files. If you are a fan of the Vanderpump Rules Valley universe, I think you'll understand what the title represents. I'm excited to venture into a new field in a new discourse, and more importantly, I'm just excited to get away from the wrestling talk, to be honest with you. I've been doing this for more than a decade. I'm more than content with just sticking to my transcripts and minding my own business because, especially coming off the heels of this weekend and everything I've been seeing on X this week and all the shows that I watch and listen to, you guys can't see me right now because it's not a video edition of the podcast. But, I'm close to having a migraine. That's just how much of a headache I've had this week of just sifting through dumb, disingenuous takes, just back and forth, tribalism, it's just all of it. And as I've said a gazillion times before on this podcast since day one, I don't care if you don't like the show. My issue is when you try to speak on behalf of the entire fan base and act like your shit don't stink. That's what I have a problem with. We can agree and disagree on any subjective topic you would like to have about wrestling. Good show, bad show, good booking, bad booking. I really don't care because at the end of the day, it's not real. This is not a sport. What these men and women do, sacrificing their bodies for us, that's the real element. But the booking, the patterns, whatever you hear jargon on these wrestling dirt sheet shows, it's not real. This is not Breaking Bad. This is not The Sopranos. This is fucking professional wrestling. So, I think you guys can hear it in my voice as the episodes go by that I'm at my wit's end with this type of stuff, because I'm like, I'll get to the point where I just need to throw my hands up in the air, because I feel like I'm I don't know if I'm talking in circles or what my message here is not landing, or I feel like I gotta throw my hands up in the air because it's like it's the same thing over and over and over again. I'm not gonna come in here and be the flag waver or arch defender of so and so company. That's not my shtick. My issue is, especially for someone like myself who wants to showcase and express the positivity with wrestling, I have a problem detaining myself with debunking bullshit that I see and hear on these shows. It's been my qualm the entire time I've been doing this podcast and this project. It was my qualm when I was doing the Pro Wrestling Experience show back in the day when I first started doing this stuff. Guys, I've been doing this now for close to 13 years now. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of people, change who they are as humans in their attitudes due to platforms and opportunities that they're given. But one thing that I can pride myself on is the fact that no matter what has gone on in the past 10 years of this podcast, interchangeable hosts, etc., I haven't changed. I stay true to how I feel about wrestling and how I look at it. And I feel in a lot of ways I've done a good job of holding people accountable for their disingenuous takes and how they go about their shtick and how it really does take away the enjoyment of wrestling as a whole. And again, I hate repeating myself, but it's true. Like, stop letting people dictate your wrestling fucking opinions, man. I would love to check out a wrestling podcast where 99% of the talking points is something that I could hear from fucking Meltzer and Alvarez and Sapp and John Alba and etc. and etc. But where's the authenticity? Where's the genuism? Don't regurgitate their crap. Think for yourself. And it's so easy to pick out the narratives and the jargon that the freaking echo chamber wants to spew out every single week on these shows. And people want to put a blind eye to it. But there is a narrative out there. There's a narrative, and it's like no matter what WWE does, there's always going to be a yeah but this, a yeah but that. But they don't do that for their own favorite company, right? Oh no, the savior, the freaking IWC vanity project known as AW does no wrong, right? We gotta keep that positive PR spin for them to exist. I'm at my wit's end in this. So what can I say? Am I gonna come here and argue with you guys about Wrestlepalooza and whether you guys thought it was a good show or not, or whether it delivered up on the hype of the show or not? A, I don't give a fuck if you like the show or not, to be honest with you. B, the show's over already. And C, I'm just at the point where this wrestling stuff now is just my job. I'm not in it anymore and looking at it from a fan's standpoint because I can't relate to the common wrestling fan in 2025 anymore. I don't want to be in that space. I don't want to be in that clique. I don't want to be a content creator that comes on here and preaches about authenticity and thinking for yourself, and then having my viewpoints on a wrestling show change 2 days later because there's a bunch of sensitive ass fucking marks on X crying as if that's something new. I've been seeing it all week. Generally, people that I have respect for. said that, hey, they enjoyed the show. They had a good time. People went to the show. They had a good time. Now here we are 2-3 days later. Now they're up on their YouTube channel saying, it was not good. Oh, you were able to change my mind. What? I have not allowed one person in this space in the last 10 years dictate how I see wrestling. Not one. It's hard. I don't want to look at it this way, but it's got to this point where this has just worked for me now. Once we get past episode 500, I could take the deep breath and be like, hey, you know what? I did what I did. I did the best that I could with this project. But the wrestling echo chamber is never going to change. Wrestling fans are the worst. And nobody brings down professional wrestling more than its own fans. This whole week they were spending back and forth dialogue about a guy who openly, over the years, has showed his obvious bias towards WWE, but we're going to take his opinion seriously because he's giving out letter grades on an ESPN article. As if I'm supposed to give a fuck what Andres Hale has to think about Wrestlepalooza. My issue, and the only reason why I addressed this on my Twitter the other day, is because I read through the thing and it's just right there. It's right there. You ever have that feeling when you're watching or listening to a show, especially if you're like a sports talk radio fan or if you're a fan of a particular sports team, and you can see narratives and agendas being spewed out from particular reporters and stuff like that. Anytime I listen to, for example, Jonathan Coachman, right, Busted Open or whenever he does his podcast with Vince Russo, you can tell a million miles away that he's just tossing out topics from the dirt sheets to get clicks out of it. But all he ever talks about is himself, his relationship with The Rock, and the fact that he doesn't like Triple H. Oh, so, we'll add on to that to get more clicks from the space and from the sickos and the IWC sensitive marks. Hey, we want to continue the shit on Triple H parade. Let's bring on Vince Russo, whose entire shtick now in 2025 is to talk shit about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. That's all it is. Hey, let me subscribe to the Russo brand network to hear him whine and moan about Triple H and their issues that they've had with each other for 30 years, as if anybody gives a shit. I have a hard time having to come on here and try to bring something different to the table when at the end of the day, this space, this field, this universe, all that wrestling fans want is to get together, regurgitate the same shit they read from all these sites and all these podcasts. They can't think for themselves. And if you have to disagree with it, oh, you're this, you're that. That's all it is, to be honest with you. And that's why I'm excited to stop doing this stuff. It's not fun for me anymore. Yeah, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the show. Did I think that Wrestlepalooza was the PLE of the year? No. Do I think Wrestlepalooza was something like December to Dismember? No. But again, where is the nuance and substance in this freaking field? I see all these people, oh, come on, you can't go against Andre Hale. He's objective. What? Are you kidding me? He's objective? Okay. Right. Just like Colin Cowherd is objective, just like Skip Bayless is objective in his own field. Oh my God, man. If it fits the narrative amongst the echo chamber, these people do fucking mental gymnastics to validate their points, or try to think that they're validating their own points. I mean, coming on here and talking about Seltzer and Alvarez is kind of like a moot point at this point. like you listen to their shit, it's boring, it's nonsensical. Brian Alvarez conducts himself like a 13-year-old girl. Dave Meltzer is, every time I see my video, he looks like he's having a fucking seizure. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with him. So it's like, I don't care what they have to think anymore. we all know their shtick. They're funding up AEW, so that's their shtick. What's really sad about this is that now we're getting to the point that this echo chamber is not allowing people and new content creators to think for themselves. The fact that you could go on X one day and be like, hey, I enjoyed the show, I had a good time, and then 3 days later you change your mind and you're like, oh, that sucked. Let me change my mind so the IWC doesn't go after me. It's pathetic, and that's really the state of wrestling media in 2025. You can't think for yourself. You got to make sure that Triple H is the shittiest booker on God's green earth. And if you have any disagreements with the IWC, you better get your running shoes on, because the lynch mob's going to come after you. I don't care. Come after me. I don't give a crap, because guess what? I could come on here and reproduce a podcast and have my own thoughts. It's not that hard. Oh, I don't want any negative reactions, so guess what? I'm going to flip the script and follow along what everybody else says on Twitter. Then you got guys like Kicking It with Ross. He's another one that lets freaking X dictate all his thoughts on wrestling, and he thinks that he knows everything about wrestling, and he's the smartest person in the room. Another one. What are we doing at this point? Why are we doing these shows? For what? To boost our egos? I'm very grateful for the fact that the podcast now is starting to get money, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the support and the viewership that I do get for this podcast, especially being a DIY project. But really, to my colleagues, why are we doing this? For what? Is it our goal to be so morose in this space that we can't allow our viewers and listeners and readers for the websites out there to not allow them to think for themselves? That we have to act like we're either Democrats or Republicans on one side of the fence? Like, do we need to bring politics into the wrestling media? Because that's what it feels like. Nobody can think for themselves. It's either this or that. This or that. I'm just at my wit's end with this stuff. I really am, because it's really unfortunate. It really is. I would like to think that, like, this is a really good time to be a wrestling fan. You still have so many wrestling shows amongst the space on weekly television, Monday through Friday, and then you got good independent promotions that you can watch over the weekend and stuff like that. And I feel like there are a couple good creators here and there, but you know, it's few and far between to point them out and give them their flowers. You know, like I admire my guy Andrew Baydala for who he is, and him always being a good brother, so I don't have any qualms with him. You know, I've given credit where credit's due with Wheezy. I'm glad for her grind and hustle. She's very, very entertaining in what she does. You know, I got a lot of respect for Mike Johnson from a reporter and actual journalist point of view. But again, it's just like the rest is just regurgitated same other bullshit, same talking points, same outlooks on the wrestling business, and it's just. And what's really sad is really the clout chasers. It's just like, and it's very obvious who they are. I don't need to say it. You guys know who the clout chasers are in this space. And at the end of the day, I feel like in a lot of ways and why I'm okay with ending this chapter of my broadcasting career is just knowing the fact that in a way, I've failed you guys. One of the main reasons why I kept doing this podcast for a long time and started doing this show in the first place was because I wanted to, be a spark of change, bring something different to the table in this space when it comes to having a genuine wrestling conversation without it have to be littered with takes that comes from another person's point of view. Like, I wanted to come on here and have that fun back porch style, shooting the shit conversation about wrestling, right? That's what I wanted to do with this show. And I feel like in a lot of ways I failed you guys because nothing in this space has changed. So we're going to carry on with these last 16, 15 episodes of the show. And that's that. When we come back, I'll give you my thoughts on the show. I'll give you my thoughts on Wrestlepalooza and all that. I'll make a little preview for NXT No Mercy because that's coming up on Saturday. And then we'll get into the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 484 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast, everybody. Episode 484. Don't forget, if you want to check out any editions of the Hoots Podcast, make sure to check out our home of the Hoots Podcast, Odyssey. Also on our YouTube channel at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to subscribe there. We appreciate the support. Before we get to my thoughts on Wrestlepalooza as a whole, and then we got NXT No Mercy, got sprinkled in some thoughts from Raw and SmackDown, of course, as always. But first I want to play this clip from the post-game show for Wrestlepalooza where we had Joe Tessitore, Peter Rosenberg, and Big E. They had AJ Lee and CM Punk as guests, and I wanted to play this for you guys.
AJ, how good did that feel? How good did that feel tonight?
Him showering me with compliments, that's every day of my life. The match, it felt amazing. It was really surreal. It's been a minute. Everything hurts way more than I remember. But that was a lot of fun.
That's well deserved.
AJ, there's an AJ Lee Save Me sign. And I can't tell you the amount of people online, the wrestlers in the back that you have influenced. Your impact on not just this industry, but this world is so immense. Is it overwhelming for you to get all this love and to understand your impact on this world?
That is so sweet, thank you. That was like straight to the heart. Like, kind of like when you almost broke my sternum.
That sounds familiar.
That's
Straight.
been 12
I'm so
years.
sorry.
Can we move
I've
on?
been waiting for that receipt. It is the most meaningful thing I could ever do is connect to my fans, particularly young women, and connect on the mental health topic. It's the greatest thing I will ever do in my life. I was built to take your stories on and be a part of your journey and just help you realize that you are not alone. But I hope my fans know that in my hard times, they helped me feel not alone. So that bond is really strong. In the industry, it's surreal to see that all those girls in the locker room are, my offspring in a lot of ways.
Hey, this was the moment, by the way. This was the moment. Finally, the tag, everybody, into an unbelievable crossbody. And it was on.
What a cool moment this was. This must have been so satisfying.
Raise the eyes, not so much.
This whole thing is a cool moment. Obviously, all the clips you're seeing right now, being able to do this job after 10 years off and being able to come back and experience it with my best friend, my partner in life, my wife. That's fun, but I think truly what it's all about is the people with the signs that says AJ Lee saved me. This woman is much more than just a professional wrestler, even though she is possibly the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And listen, it's not just me saying it. Sophie Cunningham says it. Kaylin Clark says it. Tyrese Halliburton says it. Big E's saying it. The people in Indianapolis are saying it. I want to give this very special lady her flowers, and I need y'all to help me. Does she still got it, or does she still got it?
AJ, I gotta say this. So we all know CM Punk is famously and proudly a sober man. This man seems intoxicated with what happened. I have never seen. We talked to this guy quite a bit. How much does it mean to you to see the joy that you being here brings him?
I mean, after 12 years of marriage, I'm impressed. I think 12, 13, 10, somewhere around there, over a decade. Who keeps count? It's so sweet, and he's like this at home, I swear. He's a little soft cuddle bug. Not to call him out. But he's marshmallow inside.
That's what we say about him backstage, too, a soft cuddle bug. That's how everyone describes him.
He is. He just looks scary on the outside. And then I'm the opposite. I look sweet on the outside, but I will shank you.
Yeah, we've heard. You unleashed the crazy tag when you needed to.
Yes, and it worked.
Yeah.
There was a question I totally missed that, sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
AJ, I know you haven't been back long, but Punk's talked a lot about how the locker room has changed, how things are very different from when you were here a decade ago. Is that something that you've noticed in your short time back already?
Definitely. I mean, everyone was so welcoming and so kind and so complimentary in a way that made me feel like, oh, I did something, and that it meant something to these wonderfully talented women. To be any tiny piece of their journey is so humbling. I'm so proud of them, like a mama, and they're wonderful, and I'm happy to be in their presence in the locker room. But the evolution of the women has been the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. They deserved it 10 years ago. They deserve it now. They deserve even more in the next 10 years.
It was an awesome scene, the Black Widow submission. So many incredible spots there. We showed you the table spot there, but time and again, the save with the stomp as well. There was such drama throughout the night. By the way, where's Larry? We couldn't get Larry to come out to the post.
Where is Larry? He's got his own dressing room.
We couldn't get Larry. He has his own dressing room here. Next time. You promise us next time on a post show.
Yeah, listen, Larry's, I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's all trazodoned out. He's on drugs right now.
That
He just had
pyro.
surgery.
That pyro's
So,
crazy. You
you
need
never
the
know what he's going to do, and he's either going to pee on somebody or bite somebody. And I might
no
too.
teeth.
You never know.
Hey, that wouldn't be the first time in a wrestling crowd. Hey, how about a big hand for CM Punk and AJ Lee?
All right. Punk and AJ on the Wrestlepalooza recap show with Joe Tessitore, Peter Rosenberg, and Big E. All right, let's continue on here. So I'll give you my thoughts on what I covered this past Saturday. You know, I think a lot of this gets tied down to two things, right? I think, you know, some people may have this whole spiel about Brock Lesnar being back, and no matter what he does, people are just gonna shit on it. And that's your deal. I mean, I talked about it when he came back. Like, I'm not gonna regurgitate my whole stance on that whole situation. That's none of my business. So I'm not gonna come here and fake outrage over a guy that hasn't been found guilty of anything. And second, and most importantly, I've always been a fan of Brock Lesnar, so him being back on my TV screen is a good thing. So, you know, it is what it is. Brock Lesnar beating John Cena in the beginning of the show. What else were you expecting? Did you really think John Cena was going to win? Brock is just going to come back and then lose to John Cena in a one-off? Was that what you guys were expecting? Like, We got to be a little more realistic about it. Him having the Heyman in-ring introduction, I thought was a nice touch. It was the right call. And then it goes back to this whole spiel that everybody wants to pontificate about how good of the booking of the John Cena retirement tour. Which reminds me, I want to play something for you guys really quick, because this is what I'm talking about when it comes to, people just talking out of their ass with things and how much there's an agenda with shit. I want to play this for you, and this is prime example, again, of why I have an issue with my field in 2025. Let's play this clip here. Just give me a second to find this.
What's good, y'all?
All right. Let's start here.
Basically, they came to John and said, hey, how would you like being heel? And John was like, all right, cool. And was really receptive to it and played ball. Which, once again, there's nothing wrong with someone actually trying to be receptive and make the best of a situation. But he was eager to do it. So it does seem as if whoever they say, hey, John, we want you to face this person, all right, cool. And if there's anybody that could say no, it would be John Cena, right? And the fact that he's outwardly saying is like, hey, AJ, are you listening? Are you down? Hey, Triple H, are you down? Do you want this to happen? Are you listening? So, I don't know. And if you watch Monday Night Raw last night, they were literally setting up something with AJ and Los Americanos with Dragon Lee. So it didn't look like they were setting up anything in regards to John Cena. And I don't know if they are. But AJ did respond. I'm going to pull up the tweet. AJ did respond. He said, I hear them loud and clear. Let's do it. I'm ready. Which a lot of people would love to see AJ Styles versus John Cena one last time. Hell, that probably should have been the match at Wrestlepalooza other than Brock. I'm just be honest with you. I mean, I feel like we've wasted more dates for John Cena's retirement tour than actually putting on some pretty solid matches or matches that I think a lot of people would have loved to get to see. There are some fans that didn't get to see the AJ Styles and John Cena feud.
Do you feel that, or you just say that because Brock Lesnar's back and your boy hates him?
So it would be cool for them to get kind of introduced to that. And for us fans that did see it, it's just going back down memory lane. Will the match be as good as it was back then? Who knows? But I'm willing to bet if there's anybody that can put on a good match, it would be AJ Styles and John Cena. They have a really good rapport in the ring. Me personally, this is very telling. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this. This is not...
Check this part right here. The obvious bias and agenda is going to blur out his mouth right here. Check this out.
The first time John Cena is essentially going at Triple H and said, hey, bro, what are we doing? You're booking the show. Let's do this. And I would love to know when he finally does retire, and maybe it won't be immediately. Maybe it'll be years down the road. And John doesn't give off the vibe of someone that will try to throw someone under the bus, at least these last few years of his career. He tries to keep it a positive, positive notion when it comes to WWE. You know, he tries to keep it as politically correct. He doesn't try to step on anybody's toes. But I would love to see, an interview of him, being as respectful as possible and nice about it as possible. I would love to see him actually be kind of tell his side of the story of this retirement run and how he would have wanted to do things differently. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I think a lot of us can agree, this retirement run for John Cena has failed. It has failed. Was there some highlights? Of course. Were there some good moments? Of course. A lot of us always wanted to see John Cena as a heel. Hadn't seen it in so long. It had some great moments, but it ultimately failed. It didn't work. It didn't work as well as they wanted to. The Rock not being involved kind of just made a lot of things like uncertain and unclear. His involvement and then not being involved, and then the whole Travis Scott thing, and now he's not involved, and then John Cena just has a change of heart right before SummerSlam after really no one wanted to boo him.
All right, I got to stop. Oh my fucking god! All right. So, because the fact that The Rock was never advertised to be at WrestleMania, never said he was going to be at WrestleMania, he's the reason why John Cena's heel turn was a failure, right? So we're still talking about WrestleMania. One show that The Rock wasn't at is the entire reason why John Cena's heel turn was a failure. You got to be shitting me, man. You, my man, are a freaking CLAHN. And I haven't said that in a while on this show, but seriously, Ross, you are a CLAHN. Oh, I really hope, in a respectful way, that John Cena just shits on Triple H once his retirement tour is over. Fuck me, man. Jesus Christ, man. What the hell is this space becoming to, man? You're only talking about John Cena's. You're only talking about John Cena's retirement tour being a failure. Is the fact that The Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania when he said he never was going to be there in the first place. And you guys wonder why I don't want to do this stuff anymore. Anyways, here's my thoughts about Wrestlepalooza. Do I think that it was the show of the year? No. Do I feel like there was a big significance feel to it being the first show on ESPN? I do, to a certain extent. Do I think the show was bad? No. Do I think this show is great? No. If we're going to do grades, I would give a show a B. Or B minus. See, I can be objective about it, but I'm not going to come here and give you my obvious bias about my feelings on a company and give it a letter grade off of the fact of that. And then your entire Twitter timeline is stuff about how great Tony Khan is as a booker. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Give me a break. Enjoyed the match with the Usos and the Vision. The mixed tag match with Punk, AJ, and Seth and Becky was a lot of fun. Obviously, Stephanie and Io had the match of the night. Congratulations go out to Stephanie becoming the new Women's World Champion. I thought it was the right call because obviously it led into everything that happened on Monday, which was a lot of fun. Started up this Io and Rhea Ripley feud with the Kabuki Warriors. That's going to be a lot of fun at Crown Jewel. Cody and Drew, I think this fell into a victim of people just wanting Drew McIntyre to win, and whatever weird thing the IWC has against Cody Rhodes, I don't get it, to be honest with you, because the guy still getting great receptions from the crowd each and every single week. But okay, Cody Rhodes gets the title back at SummerSlam, but you guys want him to drop the title a month later to Drew McIntyre. Like, make that make sense to me. There was probably a missed opportunity with not having Randy Orton involved in this match. I'll agree to that, but, get shit on the show because, Drew McIntyre didn't win the title. I think that defeats the point. Why are we going to hot potato the WWE Championship just because Cody Rhodes went to shoot a movie for 2 weeks? Like, what are we doing? Other things I wanted to talk about really quick because we do got to preview No Mercy and stuff. That's coming up on Saturday. We have Crown Jewel coming up, which is going to be Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. And we'll find out tonight which will be happening for the ladies. It'll be Stephanie Van Kurt taking on the winner of tonight's triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. It's Tiffany Stratton against Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. I believe Tiffany will retain in this match, and I'm going to go with Tiffany in this one. So Tiffany retains, and she fights Stephanie Vaquer in Perth, Australia. I really did like that promo with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes this week on Raw. I thought it was very good. If you guys want to go back and find something to watch, go check that out. Some other things that stood out to me from programming this week, the 6-man tag, no DQ with Penta, and the War Raiders taking on the New Day and Grayson Waller. That was good. Props for JD McDonough, man. Rusev and JD McDonough. I thought that was a pretty solid match as well. These are obviously Rhea and Asuka had a tremendous main event on Raw. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. NXT No Mercy is coming up on Saturday for the War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. God, please get me to Florida as fast as possible. I think I've been to Fort Lauderdale once. Because I was in Tampa for the WrestleMania that they had in, at the Buccaneers Stadium. And the Tampa Bay WrestleMania, it was still part of, like, COVID. Yeah, WrestleMania 37 was the one in Tampa Bay for COVID. I went to Fort Lauderdale for one day. It was a nice city. That's what I wanted to say about that. All right, let's do our preview predictions for No Mercy coming up on Saturday. This will be on Peacock. I'll be covering the show live for WrestlingHeadlines.com as I do for all shows for WWE. That's my job. Make sure you check out all my transcripts at WrestlingHeadlines.com. So No Mercy coming up tomorrow night. Let's check out the card here. We'll start from bottom all the way to the top. We'll go with Javon Evans and Josh Briggs to kick these off. I think this will be the match that will kick off the show, to be honest with you. I got Javon Evans winning this one. He gets his revenge on Josh Briggs. Ethan Page against Tavian Heights for the NXT North American Championship. I got Ethan Page retaining over Tavian Heights. So Ruka against Lainey Reed for this Women's Speed Championship. I have a bold take here. I think Lainey Reed beats Sol Ruka for the Women's Speed Championship. I think something happens on accident with Zarya on the outside and Lainey Reed beats Sol Ruka. You gotta remember, this is a short time interval with these matches. I think something's gonna happen that Zarya's gonna cost Sol Ruka the championship. That's my guess. I got Lainey Reed becoming your new Women's Speed Champion. From there, we'll go to Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe in a weaponized steel cage match. I'm going to go with Jordan Grace to win this one. Blake Monroe beat her at Heat Wave for the last time they had a PLE for NXT. This time, I got Jordan Grace getting her revenge on Blake Monroe. NXT Women's Championship match. I got Lola Vice becoming your new NXT Women's Champion as she gets the victory and Fallon Henley turns her back on JC Jane. I got Lola Vice getting the one done in front of her family. And then the main event, Obafemi and Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship. I got Obafemi retaining over Ricky Saints. So those are my predictions for No Mercy. I think No Mercy is going to be a damn good show. Look out for it. It's going to be good. Obviously, the cage match should be fun with Jordan and Blake Monroe. JC and Lola, I think, would be a good match. Javon Evans and Josh Briggs would be good as well. And then, of course, I think Oba and Ricky Saints will have a fun match as well. A little clash of styles, so that should be a lot of fun as well. So don't forget, check out my coverage as always at WrestlingHeadlines.com or ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. All right, one more segment that we got to do here before we wrap up this edition of the Hoots Podcast. It's time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session, and we'll do that right after this break, right here on episode 484 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. All right. Time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the podcast at Hoots. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's throw it up. Throw it up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta and XC Zaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what he has for us this week. All right, I got it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Chris says, "What a boost! Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. With WWE heading to Saudi for Mania in 2027, do you think it's more of a test run to have the show go international again?" I think they were going to go international regardless. I don't think this is a test run. But again, I have no issues with WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia. It's not the end of the world. Do you think NXT will do a trip to Full Sail yearly eventually? No, I'm pretty sure they would. Hell, I would say this. If you wanted to do some, like, I don't know, Worlds Collide, some Invasion type of show, you could do NXT versus TNA show at Full Sail. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I don't think it's going to be something where it's going to be a long time before they go back to Full Sail. I think they will. I just don't think that that NXT will be doing their weekly programming from Full Sail every single week. It's going to be one-off appearances here and there. But there also begs the question, because I heard that they're actually expanding the Performance Center in Orlando. So be on the lookout for that. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. Which match are you looking forward to the most for No Mercy? Great question. Right now, Chris, I'm stuck between Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace and the Obafemi Ricky States match. So I'll probably go with those two. Favorite match for Wrestlepalooza? Stephanie and Io and the mixed tag match. Do you think there's a small chance John Cena could extend this retirement run to April? No, I don't. I think John is full of his convictions. If it's something where The Rock popped up and they dropped this big angle in September at Saturday Night's Main Event, I can see that happening. But no, I think this will probably be it. Thoughts on Jasmine Nick's departure? It's unfortunate. I thought she was talented in the ring. Obviously, super fucking hot and great to look at. Waterfall wise, her boyfriend is the absolute pure and utter clown. I don't know what the fuck she sees in him. But besides that, I wish her the best. And I don't think this is the last we'll see from her from wrestling. I thought she was talented, and things happen and people make their decisions, and it is what it is. Does Lainey Reed join Fatal Influence? Yes. Either she joins Fatal Influence or Fallon Henley leaves and JC's all by herself. Like, the faction as itself just completely disbands. Last question here. Thoughts on Andrade's sudden exit? Does this seem like he's the problem? Well, I'm not backstage, and I don't take what these backstage reports are seriously from these websites. They're all full of their own shit. I'll just say that, if there's a scenario where he's being a malcontent and being hard to work with, then that's on him. I think a lot of this stuff for wrestling is about timing, and sometimes like Andrade or whoever the situation can get in their own way. Wrestlers are their own worst enemies, as they say. I wasn't expecting him to leave this early, but it is what it is. I don't know. I want to thank Chris for the questions. As always, great job. As always, good brother. As always, I appreciate you. As always, make sure to follow him on Twitter at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. On that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow on this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. As always, you can follow me on X at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Make sure to check out our old previous episodes of the Hoots Podcast on our YouTube channel. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and the like button as well. Help us get to the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure to check out my website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, and all, of course, my other transfers that I do at WrestlingHeadlines.com in the results section. I'll be covering SmackDown tonight. SmackDown's in Orlando, which kind of makes me sad. I wish I was there. Give me to Florida, damn it. Give me to Florida. So that's coming up tonight. Kia Center, Orlando, Florida. It should be a good show. I'll be covering No Mercy tomorrow night as well on WrestlingHeadlines.com, so be on the lookout for that. And then that's pretty much it. I just want to let you all know, as always, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the face of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love each and every single one of you. Enjoy No Mercy. Enjoy your weekend. October is right around the corner. Joshie gets another check, and he's getting closer to getting the fuck out of Chicago. But I know we're going to say goodbye for now, and we'll talk to y'all next week as the countdown to episode 500 continues of the Hoots Podcast. I love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to y'all next week. All right? Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.